Let's paint a Brazilian Christmas tree in watercolors to use as Christmas cards. There's a pine tree that is typical to Brazil that in Portuguese is called Araucaria, but to the rest of the world is known as Brazilian pine tree. That is very beautiful, it's very pretty. It has this long trunk with the canopy on top, very horizontal, looking like a hat. And I think it's a beautiful design. There's a lot of them here where I live. And they are even preserved in our country, so it's forbidden to cut them down. And they take a lot of time to grow, so I think it's good that people are preserving them. And I always thought that it would be a beautiful image for Christmas, especially in this country, because Brazilians, they love Christmas, so we celebrate Christmas. But there's a lot of imagery associated with the north. So, for example, in Brazil, it's summertime during Christmas, but still you can find a lot of Christmas decorations with snow, and we don't have snow here. Santa Claus with bear, the clothes are very winter-like. So I always thought that it would be nice if we could have some images associated with this country, since we are in a tropical country. I always thought about it, about having a Araucaria as a Christmas tree. And last year I did this for the first time. I painted this painting, but in smaller sizes. And I used as Christmas cards to send to family members. I painted one by one, so they are not the same. Each one is a little different. And I thought that maybe this year I will film the process, a long form video where I'll share step by step and talk you through how I did this. By the way, I never seen this Araucaria, Christmas Araucaria that I call in Portuguese is Araucaria de Natal. I never seen anyone doing this, so I think I might have invented it. If you live in a different country, it might be a good idea to maybe do something different. So you can use this as Christmas card regardless of the country where you are. And then you will talk about what is this Araucaria. We are going to start by cutting the paper. Here I have paper that is a little larger than an A4. This is Canson Monval. It's not 100% cotton. You can use 100% cotton paper if you'd like. This one, in Brazil at least, it's very affordable. So I think it's a good idea if you're going to do multiple Christmas cards, a paper that is not so expensive. So I'm using this, and here in Brazil we can find those blocks with 100 pages. So look at this. It's really amazing. A lot of paper, a lot of watercolor paper. So I think this is a good price for the quality. I like it. But I'm going to cut it in 4 because I want to make 4 Christmas cards with this paper. My cutting board already has the dimensions, so I'm going to use this to measure the paper. 32 centimeters, and I'm going to cut in half. When you are cutting paper, don't try to cut it all at once because it might rip the paper. Use a very sharp knife and use it multiple times so you will get a clean cut. So don't try to rush this part or you might ruin the paper. So see, three times was enough. And now I'm going to cut this in half. So this is 24 centimeters, so I'm going to cut in 12. It started raining and I really like the sound of the rain, so I hope it's not a problem for you. It's good that it's raining because it was very hot here and the plants really needed some rain. Use your knife very vertical to the paper, meaning don't tilt to the sides. Use it very like 90 degrees. You don't want to tilt your knife, your blade, cutting blade. So now I have 4 pieces of paper, and I'm going to create 4 Christmas cards. They are all the same drawing, the same structure, but I'm going to use one more bluish, the other one more to the brown, so I'll have different paintings. They won't look exactly the same, because I think this way each one is special. I'm going to organize the table and let's paint. Okay, so I have all the materials set and ready to start. One thing about the paper, this is the painting that I created to keep to myself. This one is artist paper. I made it on artist paper that is very high quality paper, and we are going to use for drawing just a regular pencil. It can be any pencil you have in your house. Today I'm using Tombow HB, and I'm going to draw just one line for the trunk and a few lines for the branches. And one thing about this tree, you will notice that sometimes there is a point in the trunk where the branches come from. So each year it grows a little bit, and the branches below will fall, so that's why there's more branches here on top than on the bottom part of the trunk. And there is also larger branches around here, almost like a cross, something like this, but they can be more symmetrical or less symmetrical. You have freedom to create more symmetry, to paint with more symmetry or less symmetry, or to vary if you like. But one thing that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes this part can be very dense, but we want to have some white space so we can paint the red Christmas balls later. And as you can see, I'm using a paper that is half the size of this one. This one was not used as Christmas card. This one I painted just for myself, so I could keep one for myself. So this one is mine. So when drawing the lines of the Araucaria, of the Brazilian pine tree, you can decide if you want to leave some room for text. For example, you might want to write Merry Christmas here on top or here on the bottom. So if you want to write something on it, you make sure there is room for it, so later you can add your text. In my case, I'm going to just use all the space for painting. So this will be my tree truck, and from here the main branches will grow. So these are my largest branches, and from here they will get a little more tight. Yeah, there's a curve, as you can see. They drop a little and then they rise a little. And I'm not going for perfect symmetry, because I think this way feels more organic. Okay, and here you can have some that do things like this. So it drops and then goes up, and sometimes it will cross in front of another branch. This is beautiful as well. And I like the idea of having a few branches here below the main canopy. So feel free to draw as many as you like, and you can add more when you are painting, but I personally prefer to have a structure before I start painting. And for these smaller branches here, they are more like straight lines, but I'm going to paint them just as like a I don't know, the pom-pom for a cheerleader, because when you look an Araucaria from far, it looks like a pom-pom. So it's not really a pom-pom, but I'm going to paint very loosely as if it was. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with the other papers. So we'll have 4 Christmas cards. If you want, you can use a ruler for that if you want to make sure it's centered. I'm not gonna use one, but feel free to do it if you like. Okay, so now I have 4 drawings, different drawings, and I'm going to start preparing the ink. So now we're going to start painting, and I'm going to prepare the colors that I'm going to use. So I want a light green, a medium green, and a dark green. And I will mix colors so they have, one part is a little, the light green can be warmer and the dark green can be cooler with more blue. So I'm going to mix the colors. I'm not going to use exactly these greens. I'm going to mix with yellow and blue so I can have my own greens. For the Christmas balls, we are going to use red, probably this one, and then I'm going to use metallic watercolor. I hope you can see, you can notice that this is metallic. I have some metallic paints in here. This is from a Brazilian brand called Pestilento. I don't know if they ship internationally, but there's a lot of brands that do that work with metallic ink. So you can use any one you have at home, or if you don't have metallic ink and you don't want to use metallic ink, you can use light yellow, so like azo yellow light or lemon yellow. So feel free to use what you have in your house. So I'm using this piece of paper from an exercise that I was doing before. I was testing some paints. In here I'm going to test the colors before I start painting. Before we start, I'm going to spray the watercolor with water so the paint is ready to be used. And for the brushes I'm be using, I'm going to use smaller brushes because it's a small painting. So the size of the brushes depend on the size of the paper. So in this case, I'm not going to paint large areas, so I don't need a large brush. So I separated 4, but I will probably be using just these 2. This one for the tree, and this one for the ball, the red balls, and then for the metallic chain. So these are here just in case, so I will probably be using these 2. The light green, I'm going to use a little bit of sap green. Oh, by the way, I also have a small piece of this is like a sponge that people use in the kitchen or to clean the house. So this is a sponge for cleaning, but it works well for watercolors, and you can reuse it. You can wash it after you use and use it again. So I have this for many months already, and it still works. You just have to wet before you use it, because it gets, when it dries, it gets really hard, and you can use it. So just wet a little bit, and then you can use it to clean your brush or to remove the excess of water. So I'm using sap green. Here I'll prepare my lighter green, but I'm already adding a little bit of sap green here for my medium green, my mid green. Okay, and for to lighten it up, I'm going to use a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay. So let's test it. So this one was, I think it's very similar, but you can use the colors, you can use vibrant colors or muted colors. Feel free to adjust to your preference. I think a little more ochre, yellow ochre will be nice. Less green and more yellow. That's what I'm aiming for, at least. So I think this is fine. And I'm using it very diluted because I want it to be very transparent. Okay, so this is my light green. My mid green, I will add just a little bit of the same yellow ochre, but more green than yellow. So it's the same mixture, but different proportions. This one is more, it's lighter, and this one is a little darker. So here it is. I think it's fine. I think I like this one like this. For my dark green, I'm going to use hooker green. I'm going to put it in here. There's still some paint in my brush from the other mixtures, but I think that's fine. And I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine. So it will be darker. So there you go. Okay. So let's see. Let's test it. Okay, so this is my dark green. You may want to add maybe a little bit of brown, for example, burnt sienna, if you want the trunk to be different, but I like the idea of having similar colors. I think it will be pretty like this. And also you can do one of the cards more blue, so you can use this for one of the cards, and then for the other card you may want to mix different colors so they don't look all the same. And only after it's dry is that I will paint the Christmas balls and the metallic, I'm calling chain, I don't know how you call it. It's like small lights around the Christmas tree. So we will start from light to dark. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush. Okay, so let's choose just one, and then I will paint all of this, and then I will paint the other trees, and then I will go back and do the Christmas balls to all of them. I don't know, I think maybe this is still too dark. I think I want to add a little bit of lemon yellow just to make it more light. It didn't really make a difference, but that's okay. Just a little bit of lemon yellow. These are the colors that I'm going to use, but you can use whatever you have at home, so you don't have to use the same colors as I'm using. By the way, you might even try to, you can paint a orange Christmas tree, a red Christmas tree. Feel free to use the colors you like. A pink Christmas tree is a purple Christmas tree. It doesn't have to be green, although green usually is associated with Christmas, but feel free to go crazy. You are an artist, so you don't have to follow the colors from nature, the colors from your reference, or the colors that I'm telling you to use. Feel free to paint as you like. One thing that I'm going to do before I start is I'm going to remove part of the graphite I want it to be very, very light because I don't want the lines to show through. I just want the paint. So I'm going to remove part of the graphite before I start painting. By the way, I'm using a kneaded eraser or kneadable eraser. I love them. I use them a lot because you can just slightly press as if it was a stamp, and it will lift part of the graphite without erasing everything. I strongly recommend using a kneadable or kneaded eraser. By the way, there's a link to all these materials in the description. They are affiliate links. So if you buy something using the links, I will get a small percentage at no cost to you. This is a way to help me and help the channel. Sorry about the dog. It's not my dog. It's my neighbor's dog. And also the machinery. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's also my neighbor's. Okay, so let's start. I think I'm going to dilute more. I want it very, very watery because I'm going to mix the other colors while it's still wet. And by the way, there is what I'm calling a pom-pom, cheerleader pom-pom at the end of each branch, but some of them are in front of you because the branch is coming in your direction. So make sure you also add some pom-poms here. Okay, so let's start. I'm just adding small dots using paint, using my paintbrush. Some of them will get together, and I think it looks pretty this way. Some of them will be more like I said here in the middle, because the tree is a 3D object, so it's not only on the edge of the painting that there is the pom-poms. Okay. Okay, so this is the light green, and now I'm going to add part of the medium green, but I'm trying to add this green to the bottom part of the pom-pom. So this, because I want light on top and a little darker here. And I want the paint to mix. By the way, I'm doing this, I'm inclining I'm adding a little bit of inclination to the paper, so gravity will help me to move the paint to the bottom of each this group of leaves. You can use an inclined desk if you have one, of course. Okay, so I think I'm done with the medium green, and now I'm going to add the darker green. So the darkest green is also the one that I'm going to use to create the branches. So it's the same, I'm going to use the same paint for some leaves here, and then I will draw a small line coming all the way to the trunk. And as you can see, the paint is mixing a little bit, and I think it's pretty like this. I like it. This brush, it's large, but it has a really thin tip. So if you don't press too hard, you can create thinner lines, and I think it's very pretty. Okay, so this one is too large, but that's also okay. It's fine to have some variation. It's desirable to have some variety in your lines. And be sure that all the group of leaves have their own branch, so we don't leave anyone floating in the air. Like this one, for example. This one, for example, this branch is from this one in the back. So I'm going to add a one just for this one. And now I'm going to paint the main trunk. Carefully. This one, of course, can be larger than the branches, so you can press harder. Ideally, you will do this only in one brush stroke. And here on the end of the trunk, you can decide if you want, I'm just adding some more paint here, you can decide if you want to leave it like this or maybe add a little bit of water so it will fade. So it's up to you. Okay, so here we have, I'm just going to darken a little bit. My one is a little bit darker. So here we have the first card ready. Notice that I have some space to later add the red Christmas balls and the metallic paint. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Going to clean my brush. I'm probably not going to be using this one anymore because now I'm going to use a very thin, just to paint the small dots. I think the smaller brush will be better. So let's compare while it's drying. Okay, so as you can see, they are all different. So this one is, the dark green is cooler, this is warmer. Also the light green, this one is more vibrant. These two are dry already. This was the first one. No, this was the first one, second one, third, and the fourth. And now I'm going to start painting the Christmas balls, following the same sequence. And you know what? I think I'll even change the water. Okay, so now we have painted Araucarias, Brazilian pine trees as they happen in nature. Now we are going to add the Christmas part to it. So you can paint like I did in this one, the red balls with regular red paint. Any red you have in your place will do. But if you have like a metallic red or sparkling red, something like this, of course you can use it. Test it and see if you like it. Maybe if you want it very, very bright, so you can mix with a little bit of orange, so it can be a light red, or maybe you want it to be more like a deep dark red. So, and you can also vary, so you can paint with vibrant red in one and darker red in another. So they are all a little different. I'm going to use, I think, this permanent red deep, maybe vermilion or permanent red light. I don't know, I'm going to start with permanent red deep, which is darker than the other ones. So I don't need much ink, so I can use my smaller brush because I will be using very little paint. Sometimes I call it ink, but I know it's paint, but I don't know. In Portuguese, ink and paint are called tinta. We have the same name for paint and ink, so that's why sometimes I mix both. But I know they are different. It's really deep. I don't know, maybe I will lighten up with a little bit of vermilion. I'm not sure if I want this red to be so dark. So as you can see, I'm rotating the brush to pick the paint. When you're using a smaller brush, sometimes it's hard to pick up the paint from the pen. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I have cat hair on my brush. Let's remove the cat hair from the brush before we start. You may want to try before you do it on the paper, on your test paper, the size of the ball you want and how you're going to move your brush. So now we are going through a power shortage. This is very common here where I live. So I still have two lights that are connected to a power battery, but I lost the third one. But I think it will be enough for us to continue recording. So now I'm going to add the red Christmas balls to the white space. I can add some of them on top of the canopy, but it won't show as much because watercolor is very transparent, so the red will add to the green. So if you want it to be brighter, you should paint the red ball in the white area of the paper. I don't know, I think this brush is too small for this. I'm going to use a different brush. Yes, I think this one will work better to paint the red balls. the fruit of this plant, I have one right here. So this is a pinhão, but this is just one small pinhão from the ball. So the ball is really big, and when it falls on the floor, it spread throughout all over the place, and we eat this. This is delicious. So this is the fruit that I'm painting, and usually it will grow next to the leaves. It won't grow here in the middle of the branch as I painted here, but I'm going to paint some of them just because I think it's cute. Notice that they don't have to be symmetrical, so this is up to you. You can decide if you want more or less symmetry in your painting. I think we finished the Christmas balls. Now we have to add just the metallic paint to create the light chain. I don't know how to say it. And some sparkling stars like this all over the paper if you want to. And I'm going to use this really thin brush. I have 5 different metallic paints here. I think I'm going to use this rose gold here. I'm going to add some water here. I add too much water. Should have added less water. I want it to be creamier than this, not so wet. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a small dot. I'm not going to make it a round movement. It's just a small dot, and that's it. You can draw the lines, so you can follow the lines before. So you can do this, or you can just go straight to the painting. And that's what I will do, because I don't mind if it gets a little bit crooked like this, but if you want to have it perfectly, draw first with graphite and then go over it with this metallic dot. And be patient. I'll go over the green. So now let's paint the shining stars. And sometimes when you are painting with metallic lights, you have to move the paper so you can see the shine. Sometimes it's hard to see what you're painting, especially with all those lights that I have around me. Our cards are ready. In my case, I'm not going to write Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, but if you want to, you can add something written here. Ideally, you would plan this beforehand, so there would be more space for you to write. As I said previously, what I usually do, I write in the back. So now that the cards are ready, let's vote to see which ones do you prefer. And here you can see the effect of mixing three types of greens. So as you can see, some of the leaves are lighter, some of them are darker, and sometimes there's a gradient, very pretty inside the leaves. So this is one of the desired effects of mixing three different greens while the paint is still wet. So in this case, these two were the ones I used a brighter light green, a lot of yellow in it. So as you can see, these are brighter. And these two were the ones I used a little bit of burnt sienna and more ochre. So the greens are a little darker in these two cards. And also the reds, you can notice that this is a brighter red and this is a darker red. And also the metallic paint, this is a golden rose gold paint, and this is like pure gold. So I like to make them a little different each time I paint, so people get different cards. This was the first one. I want you to let me know which is your favorite. So this is the first one. This is the second one. And this is the third one. And now the fourth one. And just to compare, I'm gonna show you up close this one that is a larger paper, and I painted with I waited for it to dry a bit so the paint didn't mix as much. It's not as mixed as the other ones. This is from last year. Let me know. Enjoy this video. If you enjoy art process videos, subscribe to my channel for more. I'm trying to publish videos every 2 weeks, and I'm also creating an annual planner that I'm going to give for free for people who are subscribed to my newsletter called Letters from the Forest, where I share every 2 weeks insights from the forest where I live. I live in the Atlantic Forest of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I also share about what I'm doing, what paintings I'm doing, and what are the plans for the next videos. So if you subscribe to Letters from the Forest, the link is in the description, you will get the annual planner for free as soon as I release it. I also have a community on Patreon, and I would like to thank my patrons who support my work and support this channel. And you are awesome, you are great, and I feel really lucky to have all of you in my life. So that's it. See you in the next one. Bye. Merry Christmas.